What's up everybody, Subaru WRX fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2013 Subaru WRX STI. Many thanks to Harrison Auto Sales for hooking me up with this car to review for you guys today. So, about the 2013 STI. Well, I did a 2012 STI Limited that was the 4-door version, and that was several months ago, but this, for 2013, they didn't really change it. So it's basically the same as the 2012, but you'd be amazed how many people ask me to review the hatchback version here. And so this is the 5-door hatchback, and I personally like the way this looks better. I think that, you know, you kind of have a shooting brake style silhouette there with the side profile, and I just really love, you know, the rear spoiler and everything. And this one has those red taillight overlays, which I think look really great. Kind of gives it a Maserati Gran Turismo taillight look to it. Really like the way those look. I mean, but otherwise, you know, obviously in this blue color, it still looks fantastic, and yeah, it's a great car. Right, for the interior of this car. Well, the first thing you notice is these doors, which to me feel really cheap. They're kind of stiff, the hinges and stuff. Just doesn't feel very high quality. And this is the non-limited, so this is a little bit even lower rent than the limited 2012 STI that I reviewed. But I think with the STIs, the best way to get them is to get the bare bones version, because it's always going to be a cheaper Subaru. So spending $40,000 on a fully loaded limited with leather seats and stuff, just to me doesn't feel worth it. So I think this is the best way to spec one out. This is, you know, the base one. You still get heated seats and things like that, so I mean, it's not like it's totally bare bones. And I mean, these seats are Alcantara and leather, so I mean, they're pretty nice. But first off, while we're talking about these seats, that's the first thing you notice when you sit down in this car, is these seats don't really hold you very well. You know, in Japan, the STIs have amazing seats. Here in America, they put these wide seats in because I guess they assume that Americans are larger and we need larger seats. But these seats just don't offer very much support, and I really, really wish that they put better seats in the STIs. Next thing that you notice is this steering wheel, which is really nice. It has a good 9/3 grip, and you know, it's just nicely leather wrapped. Love the red contrast stitching on it, and you have some buttons here for volume and, you know, radio modes. It also has your Bluetooth functions here for voice control and hanging up and picking up a phone call. And yeah, I mean, so it's a nice wheel though. I like the way it is. I love the STI logo here in the middle. Gauges in this car are also very nice. They're the electroluminescent gauges, so you know, they're always illuminated, that bright orange, and you have this tachometer front and center there. Coming along to the center console here, again, it's just cheap stuff. You know, this radio, this head unit. If I had an STI, I would personally go to Best Buy and pick up a nice touchscreen head unit, because these ones, I mean, the volume knob is very small. The buttons just feel kind of cheap, and it just, you know, has a tiny little screen. And I don't know. But if you don't care about audio stuff, then you're not going to worry about that anyway. Coming along to the climate controls, they're, you know, fairly okay. I mean, again, this is an Impreza. These aren't upgraded from a standard Impreza, which is $16,000-$17,000. So this is $16,000-$17,000 climate control stuff. So not worthy of the price tag that this car has, but obviously you buy an STI for the performance, not for the interior. So I won't harp on this too much, but I mean, everything else, you know, door materials are hard plastic, everything else kind of feels cheap. For the most part. I mean, there are some nice bits. You have this leather here, the same kind of leather you have on the seats, you have for your armrest here on the door, and also for the center armrest here. That's nicely padded, so those are nice. It's nice to have that nice padding. But all the other plastic in this car just has a little bit of a cheap feel to it. Storage space in this car, though, is very good. So you have your standard door pockets here, which also have a bottle holder, which is nice. You come along to the center here, and you have a nice, deep, and big cubby right underneath the climate controls. You can fit lots of stuff in there. You have your 2 cup holders here with this nice little cover over top of them. And then you have your center console here, where your USB and auxiliary jacks are. And it's fairly deep. You can fit a good amount of things in there. So, yeah, no complaints with that whatsoever. And if you even look in the back seats, the back seat doors have a bottle holder and a little pocket as well, in addition to 2 cup holders in the middle here. So very good storage space even for the backseat occupants, which is rare. While we're talking about the backseat, though, backseat space in this car is pretty good. You know, I mean, it's not the best out there. There are some compact cars that have better backseats. I think the Honda Civic Si has a more roomier backseat, and there's cars like that. But I mean, it's plenty to get the job done. You can fit, you know, 2 adults back there comfortably, no problem. They're not going to complain too much. Trunk space in this car is interesting because, you know, being a hatchback, you can fit more stuff in this than you can in the sedan, obviously, but it's not as deep, and this is actually a shorter extra space than you get in the deep sedan trunk. So, you know, but it's nice, obviously, with the hatch because you can fold down the seats and have all kinds of space. You can put bikes and things like that in there, and that's the important thing. So this is definitely the more versatile car still. All right, so let's take it for a drive and see how it does. Now this car is completely stock, so the only thing, I think it has a short throw shifter kit from the STI because the throws definitely feel shorter than the previous STIs that I've driven. Alright, so setting off in the 2013 Subaru WRX STI. So this car, you know, you definitely feel the road. One thing, you know, that I even notice at low speeds is just how good the steering feel is. I can feel every single groove in the road through this wheel, and that's really great. The weight of the steering wheel is lighter than I would like, and I'll talk more about that later as well. But, you know, the ride is definitely a little bit on the rougher side. Obviously, this is an STI, and this is a rally car for the street, so you don't expect it to have a buttery smooth ride, and that's okay. That's the type of car this is. So, you know, road imperfections and everything, I mean, you feel it all. You feel every single thing. So it's very communicative in that regard, but like I said, it is definitely a little bit rougher than your average car. So yeah, it's fun though. You know, the whole car just feels very much alive, and I mean, this car is definitely not a car that'll bore you. Visibility in this car is also very good. You have, you know, the same base as the Impreza, which is, you know, focused on safety, and so you have a huge windshield, you have, you know, large side windows, you have the hatchback in the rear, so that whole rear glass is very large. I mean, you can see very well out of this car. So I mean, it feels small going down the road, so you don't have to worry about, you know, staying in your lane or anything. I mean, it's a very easy car to drive as well. Alright, so let's turn onto this back road here and see how it does. Yeah, this one is quick. So yeah, you know, this thing, once that turbo kicks in, it just takes off. Oh man, it's like my vision was blurred for a second going full throttle in this. And that's weird because I drove the STI Limited, the 2012, and that one didn't feel as fast. I think, you know, this hatchback, it weighs a little bit less, and, you know, not being a Limited, it's a little bit lighter. I don't think that's really the big difference, though. I'm not sure why this one feels faster, but it certainly does. And this is really exciting because, you know, I reviewed a standard 2013 WRX, and that car pulled really hard too, but this just, I mean, you have more horsepower, obviously, so it takes it to another level, and it's really impressive. That extra 40 horsepower, it pulls hard. I mean, if you know, have the bravery to stick with it all the way up to 6,500 RPMs, I mean, this thing, it really just does move well. So yeah, on this back road here though now, on these curves, and this steering rack is way too light. I mean, there's the new Audi A4 has a heavier steering rack than this. I mean, just for a performance car, this steering rack needs to be way shorter and just a lot heavier to me. So I definitely don't like that. Going around this tight bend that I always go around though, let's see how it does. And yeah, I mean, you feel some body roll, definitely body roll. I'm sorry, I'm a Subaru WRX fan, but the Evo 10 definitely handles corners better. I like the way the Evo handles much better than the STI. I mean, obviously, that's where the aftermarket comes in. It's very easy to fix with sway bars, coilovers, whatever you want to do. But stock versus stock, the Evo 10 feels way better in corners. All right, so let's see about this power again, shall we? Yeah, this thing is quick. Yeah, this car definitely pulls hard. This thing is a blast in a straight line. It is tons of fun in corners. But yeah, I'm gonna drive this car around all afternoon and get a better feel for it, and then I'll come back and give you my updated impressions. So I've been driving this car for a while now, and I gotta tell you, I mean, it's not perfect, it's definitely flawed, but this thing just really grows on you. After you drive it for a while, you can't hate this car. Even if you don't like anything about it, you just drive it, it puts a smile on your face, and it just has so much character and personality. It's just such a fun car to just do anything with. I mean, it can do anything. That's the great thing about it. All-wheel drive, you know, it's a wagon. It's just, I mean, you can do anything in this thing. It's amazing, and it's so multifaceted. I love that about it. It's one of the reasons why I've always been a WRX fan. And this one is really just, it's so much fun. I mean, so yes, there are flaws. For example, this one for some reason has really noisy tires. The passenger door has been rattling, and that's been driving me insane. The steering rack is definitely too light. I really wish it had more weight. Like I said, I've driven Honda Civics that have a heavier steering rack than this car, and this is a sporty car. It should have aggressive steering, it should have aggressive seats, and it doesn't. And this one is silent since it's a stock car. It definitely needs to have an exhaust note, and it doesn't. So from the factory, these are far, far from perfect, but man, they are just so charming still. And you know, it has a lot of really cool features that I've talked about in the 2012 review, but I'll mention it again in this one. It has the SI drive, which you can switch over into Sport Sharp mode. That gives you faster throttle response, and of course this car has the adjustable diff in this car, so you can, you know, put more of the power to the rear or to the front or whatever you want to do. And so that's always fun. And I mean, so with all the different customization that you can do with this car, you know, to tailor the driving experience to exactly what you want it to be, it's just great. Another great thing about this car is these don't depreciate at all. The resale value on these, I mean, if you buy a used one, it's like maybe $1,000 cheaper than a brand new one, because it's just, they hold their value so well. And I mean, you can get a car that's 8 years old, an 8-year-old WRX STI is still going for $21,000. And I mean, a WRX will still go for the high teens, and that's a car that was only $23,000 or $24,000 brand new, and 8 years later it's only $5,000 less. It's insane how well they hold their value. So you buy one of these, you know that it's going to be worth a lot for a long time. And especially this hatchback version, now that for 2015 the STI will no longer be available in a 5-door hatchback like this. This is the last of its kind, maybe forever, I don't know. I think Subaru will eventually come to their senses and bring the hatchback back, but for the time being, this is the newest version of the 5-door STI that you can get. So for that reason alone, this car is going to hold its value for a long time. So I mean, you know, these are just really an outstanding bargain in every single way possible. And yeah, the thing is, you know, in addition to all that, the power just never ever gets old. You can just be cruising along in first gear and then just stomp on it, and hello! It just flies, and it's insane, and it makes my passenger laugh out loud. It's just hilarious because of how fast it is. And this one is stock. I mean, at first I thought it might have something aftermarket going on because it is so quick. It's definitely faster than the 2012 Limited that I reviewed before. I don't know what's going on with this one, but these things just take off. 305 horsepower doesn't sound like a lot in today's crazy supercar world that we live in, but this thing is a rocket ship. I mean, it'll still do 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds, and I mean, you just tweak the ECU a little bit and you have 350 horsepower in one of these things, and in a car that only weighs 3,300 pounds, that's a lot. So yeah, I mean, for all those reasons, yes, this car is flawed. The refinement is pretty terrible, to be perfectly honest. There's rattles, you know, it's not a refined car, and you know, these cars retail for around $35,000. There's much nicer cars you can buy for $35,000, but there's not too many faster cars you can buy for $35,000. So if you want speed, you don't care about, you know, niceties in the interior and the way the plastics feel, then this is the car for you, because this thing is just a riot to drive. Absolute awesome time. And so yeah, this one is available if you're interested in it. Harrison Auto Sales has it on their lot now for less than $34,000. It's 2013, like I said. It has around 13,000 miles on it. 1-year-old car, and it's, I mean, in beautiful condition, and it already has the cool taillight overlays, and yeah, it's just ready for a new owner. So yeah, and like I said, it's less than $34,000 from their lot. So if you're interested in it, definitely give them a call or check them out on the website, and they'd be more than happy to help you out. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.